broadcasting to you from the heart of northern Minnesota. This is the Roger Radio Show. I am Roger Radio.
And I'm Aegis on Levity of the Interbank Group.
You fucking ready to do this? I'm ready.
Yeah, I got a nice cold Voodoo Ranger.
Yep, this here's the
Already drank
last of my
half of it.
traveling jack that I got right here, so I wanted to pull out the old glass right here for this occasion. Courtesy of good old Minnesota Beer Day. Can you see that?
Yep, I got one of those too. I think it's over on my counter.
Okay.
All right.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Huh.
I got warm.
Yeah. Holy. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, in our last podcast, I've made it clear that we are going to do a question of the podcast. And our question for this week's podcast is, if you were escaping from prison, what would be your theme song?
Mine would be Planning a Prison Break by the the Receiving Ends of Sirens. That's the name of the band.
Oh, okay. And how come for that song?
I don't know. It's called Planning a Prison Break. I think it goes well with the theme, breaking out of prison.
Oh, okay. For me, I would say When the Levee Breaks by Led Zeppelin. You know why?
Why's that?
I can't remember if it's a harmonica or a guitar in it, but it sounds like a harmonica, like 30s, 40s style prisons and all that. It just gives that feel to it. And of course, it's one of Led Zeppelin's best songs. You got fucking John Bonzo Bonham, the most hard-hitting drumming he ever did on there, and it fits well with it, in my opinion. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, the reason we asked this question is because Aegis and I have just recently watched The Shawshank Redemption. First time I ever watched it, and it was so
The
fucking
best
good.
movie ever made.
Yep. And we are planning to do a video on the Interbank Group channel for that. And for all of you out there, if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the Interbank Group channel. We are going to be doing some really good videos on that, comedy sketches, and just talking about movies in general over on that channel. So, yeah. I look forward to it.
So what are we doing today, Roger?
Today, we are going to be discussing what our favorite album covers are. Now, we all know there's so many good album covers out there that just look so appealing to all of us. And I was like, what would be like your 20 most favorite album covers of all time kind of thing?
Yeah, I could do like 32 of these, but we narrowed it down to 20 each.
Yeah. And I don't think I could really go to that much, honestly, Like, if I end up doing this, it would be like almost a fucking eternity that we could go through this. But I was like, how about we chop it down and just figure out what would be 20 of them, for the sake of it. If we end up doing like a part 2 or whatever, so be it,
Yeah.
Oh, God, my fucking nose is bothering me. My nasal cavity's been dry. I don't know why.
All right, so what is your first one?
Oh, this one, without a doubt, probably one of the most iconic album covers that has ever been taken, and that is from none other than the Beatles' 1969 album, Abbey Road. And to give you an idea, I got on fucking vinyl here.
Yeah, it is like one of the most iconic album covers there is.
Yeah, I mean, look at it.
You could show that to just about anyone. They'd be like, yeah, I know that album cover.
Yeah, there's actually even a, one of them, those street cameras that they have? They actually even have one pointing right directly at the Abbey Road crossing itself because it became so iconic afterwards. And then also the backside here just to show. Oh, I think it looks pretty cool, Now,
Yeah.
Now to give you an idea of how iconic this is. So for those of you who don't know about the conspiracy theory of the Paul that Paul McCartney actually died in 1966 and was replaced by a lookalike, I will be looking to do a documentary on it one of these days. But the story goes that this gives you an indication of it. Like John Lennon wearing all white and just looking Christ-like because of all his hair and facial hair makes him look like he's
Yeah.
an angel. Then you got Ringo Starr right here wearing all black, resembling either the Undertaker or the Mourner. Then you got old Paul McCartney himself, just walking barefooted, supposed to resemble a corpse. And you got George Harrison wearing all denim, making it look like he's a gravedigger. And obviously, we all know that Paul's really alive, but it's kind of like a recurring joke.
Yeah.
Ah, hang on, I need a ton. All right,
All right. Want
so
me to go then?
yeah, how about you go first next?
All right. So we're doing this in alphabetical order of the name of the artist, right?
Yep. Like it's on the itinerary I sent you. You
Yeah.
should have it
Yeah.
open
I just
popped
wanted the
open.
audience to know like what order they're in. Like
Yep,
this
that's
isn't
what
in the
we'll be
order of
doing.
how much we like them. It's just alphabetical order.
Yeah. I mean,
All right. So
I just went with like alphabetical order mainly because I'll just keep repeating myself saying favorite album cover, number one favorite album cover, number one favorite album cover, and I don't want to do that. So
all
yeah.
right. Yeah. My first one is The Madness Event of Many by Animals as Leaders, which was released in 2016. I think it's a pretty cool album cover.
Yeah.
Uh,
It
it
was it has the Prison Break song that you chose, right?
no. That's from the receiving end of Siren's album Between the Heart and the Synapse.
I ca- Oh, right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, this was just an instrumental album. Well, all of Animals as Leaders' music is completely instrumental and never have any vocals.
Yeah. I'm just right
But
now
no,
trying
it's
I'm just right now trying to find it so that way I can look it up and myself because I can't physically see it, so
yeah, it's called The Madness of Many.
yep, I have the itinerary here. So yeah, you'll just have to bear with me, folks. I am kind of a little hungover. I blacked out at the fucking Rapids Brewing last night. I don't know how I got home.
Yeah, he's been going through some tough shit. We'll leave it at that. He probably doesn't want to share that with all
Yeah,
you.
we ain't gonna share it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the album cover itself, it does look pretty unique.
Yeah, it's got like a head like fading into the background, and there's like a staircase going leading into one of the heads this dude's walking up. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it looks nice. Now, I can't remember. You showed these guys to me, right? Because I never even heard of animals as leaders.
Yeah. Yeah, I showed it to you.
Okay, I couldn't
They've got
remember
some really
honestly.
good songs.
Yeah,
Really
there's
good
like so
songs.
many bands and musicians that you've introduced me to, and I haven't even um. Man, I
Listen to
keep
all of them.
forgetting like what ones have I already heard, what ones haven't I heard?
Yeah.
So
All right, on to you.
all right, so my second favorite one is Cultosaurus erectus by Blue Oyster Cult from 1980. Now, the cool thing about this album cover is that the album cover itself is actually the central part of the painting Behemoth's World by British artist Richard Clifton Day. And if you it's a really nice illustration that I found, and I really wanted to find a actual painting of it to buy.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Hang it up in the background.
Yeah. And obviously I am looking at it right now. It has like a spacey like vibe to it, and it's just cool. I mean, what else can you say about it? Now
All right.
obviously the album itself, ladies and gentlemen, is kind of like a hidden gem from Blue Oyster Cult. Oh, I think between their I can't remember. It was their 78 between their album Agents of Fortune and their 1980 album fuck, I can't remember it, but it was just like one of those albums you just don't know much about. They do have a lot of songs that don't get airplay, but I played a few of them on my radio shows, kind of thing, you
Mhm.
know. So, all right, go right ahead, man.
All right, so my next one is David Bowie's 2002 album Heathen.
Yeah,
Is it's got a very interesting picture of him, and upside down and backwards at the bottom the image it says Heathen, which is pretty neat. And to choose between this one, Heroes, and The Next Day, because they're kind of similar album covers, and out of those three, I decided, yeah, Heathen is my favorite, then The Next Day, then Heroes.
yeah. Now, looking at the album itself, it does look like it has like that futuristic unsettling like vibe to it, you know. It almost looks like a character that could be on Radiohead's album OK Computer, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, that album is like a lot of like art pop, you could call it art pop and some art rock. It's pretty cool. It's a good album overall too.
Yeah. It looks like I'm just looking at it. The artwork was photographed by Marcus Klinko, who took the cover photo for I Am Iman, the autobiography of Bowie's wife Iman. I think that's
Yep,
how you say her name, right?
I'm pretty sure it is. Iman. Yeah, it's something around there.
Yeah. All right.
All right, on to you.
Okay, so number three. This one doesn't have much backstory to it, honestly, but for this one, I would say Bon Jovi's 2005 album, Have a Nice Day, is my third favorite. I mean, I don't know why. It's probably the most basic fucking shit you will ever see for an album cover. It's just a angry smile or whatever kind of thing, you know? Like I said, it doesn't, there's not much backstory you can really find about it, but I just like how the
Yeah.
album cover looks. It looks appealing kind of way. It just does. Oh, God, I feel fat. All right, so you can go next.
All right, my next one is David Bowie's 2017 EP No Plan. It was released a year after his death. It only has 4 songs on it, but it's a good album.
Yeah.
Uh, I had to
Was it?
decide between. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I had to choose between this one and Black Star, but honestly, I think this album cover is cooler than Black Star.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the one that you sent me is the alternate cover, you know, because there's like some of these EPs and albums that always have like two albums and whatnot.
Yeah,
Now, have you seen the original one? I'm looking at it and it looks like a
like the
mace or
Northern Star.
yeah, Northern Star kind of way. It doesn't
Yeah, I
that
know
looks pretty
exactly what
cool.
you're talking about.
It does
Yeah,
look
both those are
appealing.
really cool. I like both of them.
Yeah, it really is. They're really cool.
All right, on to you.
Okay, so my next choice, and this one's a little bit of recency bias because it just came out like last year, but I would say it would be Coldplay's 2024 album Moon Music for the next album cover, and it's volume 2 in their Music of the Spheres series. And it's probably one of the most beautiful pictures ever taken. I can't remember if it was. I'm just looking at it quick. Yeah, it features a moon bow shot taken by Argentine photographer Matthias Alonso Revielli in 2020. And Coldplay's team contacted him to ask for the picture, and while he offered a lot more options, the band ultimately maintained their initial choice, which was that album cover right there. And I could say, like, safely say, it is really, really a beautiful picture. There is a notebook edition cover that they also showed, and it just says moon music, like, you know, and how people just, it looks like if you were doodling in middle of fucking high school class.
Mhm.
Go right
All right,
ahead.
my go.
Yeah, you
All
got it.
right. My next one is Mellophobia by Cage the Elephant, released in 2013. It's a
Now,
very abstract image. I really like it.
Yeah. Now, honestly, I didn't know if Cage the Elephant was still going strong, to be honest with you. It's one of those bands where you think like, oh, are they still going, honestly? Because you don't hear much from a lot of them kind of way.
Yeah, yeah. My friend from college, Kelby, he actually got me into this album, and it's a pretty decent album too. It's not
Yeah.
usually my cup of tea, this kind of music, but I thought it was a good album,
Yeah,
and I love the album art.
yeah, it does look nice. Now Cage the Elephant, the only reason I know who they are is because of Ain't No Rest for the Wicked, obviously.
Yep.
I do like the black and white striped background right there. It looks pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All right, on to you.
Okay, so my next choice right here is Derek and the Dominoes' only album from 1970, and that is Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs. Now, this album cover, probably one of the most fucking beautiful album covers I've ever seen. All right, have to show it off again. This here's my 40-year anniversary box collection here. And obviously you can't see much of it. It's light here, but it still looks awesome. But despite that, the album cover itself is just beautiful.
It
Now,
does look nice.
yeah, it was. Yeah, now obviously Derek and the Dominoes, without doubt, I would say it's probably one of the most cursed bands ever because of everything that happened to some of the people after the album came out. Now the artwork is credited as cover painting by Franzen de Schomburg, with thanks to his son Emil for the abuse of his house. Uh, bah, 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 bah. And yeah, I think the I'm just looking right now. They took him to his father's studio after they made a mess of having an egg fight or whatever. It was there that they saw La Fille au Bouquet, or Girl with Bouquet, the painting by Emile Theodor Franzen de Schomburg, which became the cover of Layla. Yeah, but without a doubt, still a beautiful album cover. It's even considered one of the all-time greatest album cover or albums
Yeah.
overall, kind of thing.
Okay.
All right, you can go next.
All right. Next, I have Charcoal Grace by Caligula's Horse, released in 2024, just this last year. This was a very interesting image, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Now,
like they took a picture of a beautiful woman, they just like swirled it around, you know what I mean?
it looked like some of that French surrealist shit that Salvador Dali fucking made right there, man.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be able to see all these album covers, but if you're watching, well, if you're just listening to it, well, fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much. Otherwise, these people won't know
Yeah.
what we're talking about here,
Just kidding.
Now, question is, this Caligula's horse, it ain't the actual horse itself, is it?
No, it's not. Pretty sure it is an Australian prog group. Yeah, Australian prog group.
Yeah,
Caligula's Horse.
Australian. I'm just scrolling through. I can't find anything about the art cover, honestly, on it, so that sucks. All right, so this one here is obviously a last second choice that I made, but probably my other favorite album cover would be, without a doubt, the Eagles' 1976 magnum opus, Hotel California. Ah. Right here, man. I don't know what it is. The picture just looks so appealing, man. It looks pretty cool. So for this here, just find the art cover. The front cover artwork is a photograph of the Beverly Hills Hotel, shot just before sunset by David Alexander, with design and art direction by Kosh. According to Kosh, Henley wanted him to find a place that could portray the Hotel California of the album title and portray it with a slightly sinister edge. 3 hotels were photographed, and the one with the Beverly Hills Hotel was selected as the cover. Both the photographer and Koch shot this image 60 feet above Sunset Boulevard on top of a cherry picker. As the image was taken from an unfamiliar vantage point in fading light, most people did not initially recognize the hotel. However, when the identity of the Beverly Hills Hotel was revealed, the hotel threatened legal action over the use of the image.
Damn.
Which, yeah, I'm not really surprised at. Now, the rear album cover was shot in the lobby of the Lido Hotel in Hollywood. The gatefold image shows the same lobby, but filled with members of the band and their friends. Now, the Hotel California logo was designed as a neon sign, which was used on the album cover by Koch himself and its promotional materials. And it just looks so appealing, dude. Like, holy cow, man. And even then, Hotel California, one of the greatest albums of all time. And it's an album that really, let me put it this way, Joe Walsh arrived at the right time.
Yeah.
Because the album went on to just be really great. I think it won like Grammys at the 1977 Grammy Awards, obviously. I think it was named like Album of the Year. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, Eagles for the song Hotel California as Record of the Year. And New Kid in Town won Best Arrangement for Voices. It was nominated for Album of the Year at the 78 Grammys. Like, all this was the 1978 Grammys here. Nominated for Best Pop Vocal Performance by a Group for the Hotel California. Nominated for Album of the Year for Hotel California. And Producer of the Year was Bill Sism, or however the fuck it sounds, you know. No, but he was the producer, and he was nominated for Producer of the Year because of that work. Just an overall great album.
Yeah.
You could go. You could go next.
All right. My next one is Act 4, Rebirth in Reprise by The Deer Hunter, my favorite band.
Yeah, now,
all
this
of
is
their
a
album
rock opera, right?
Yeah, as part of a long opera, they're acts. So far, they've released Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, Act 5. Eventually, in a few years, they're going to release Act 6, and that'll conclude the entire series.
Yeah.
This one was released in 2015. Like, all their album covers in the acts, they have, like, trees and shit, you know? And this one is my favorite out of all their acts. I decided to narrow it down to just one for all the acts. And
Yeah.
yeah, it shows the main antagonist of the series, the pimp and the priest, standing between two trees. Whenever he's depicted, he's always wearing like a plague doctor mask, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, all around, this is one of my favorite album covers, my favorite Deer Hunter album cover from the acts. My next one is another Deer Hunter album, but you got one first before I go on to that one.
Yeah, you can wait your fucking turn because it's my turn, bro. Before we do that, cheers.
Cheers. Another Voodoo Ranger.
Yeah, right now I'm just finishing up the rest of my traveling jack here, so. Okay, so this next one, obviously, it's an obvious choice right here, and both of us are huge Emerson, Lake and Palmer fans, but this next one would be Emerson, Lake and Palmer's 1971 album TRRS. Now,
Cannot go wrong with TRRS.
You can't. It's probably even considered one of my all-time favorite songs and my number one favorite ELP song. Now, the album was packaged in a gatefold sleeve and features artwork by Scottish artist William Neal, whose armadillo has since become an iconic image in progressive rock. Now, this was supposed to be a giant armadillo tank, obviously, and his name is TRRS, which is the subject of said title track.
That was like over 20 minutes for just that one song.
And you said that progressive rock has a tendency to go about 20 fucking minutes.
Oh yeah, prog groups have a very notorious tendency to make really long songs.
Yeah, they always did. I'm just looking. It also, the tank part of it is also supposed to be like a statement about war and conflict and
War.
all that,
Yep.
but obviously I don't want to get into that. But it has one, two, three, four, seven different parts that include eruption, stones of years, iconoclast, mass, manticore, battlefield, and aquatarchus. And it's just such a great song, man. I think probably my most favorite part of that would be the battlefield sequence. And I'm looking at the title track right now. Look, and it was considered their longest studio suite by the band until the three impressions of Carnival 9.
Mm, love Carnival 9 and
Yeah.
Tarkus.
Yeah, it really is. It's just damn good. Good. I'm even looking. There's even like a visual representation of the story here, and it looks pretty cool. You know, like the artist, the illustrations is so they look really good.
Hmm.
I mean, it's amazing. Like I said, even this was their second album, and it came out great. You can go next.
Excuse me. My next one is another Deer Hunter album, as I said. Well, this one is actually an EP. It's called The Indigo Child from 2021.
Yeah,
I had to choose between this one and their 2022 album, Antimai, because they both have very similar album covers. But I decided, I mean, Antimai is a really good album cover and all, but it's very similar to the Indigo Child, and I think the Indigo Child album cover is better. It's very cool.
it looks really cool. Yeah,
Yeah, because they're
I got
both of them have like triangles with some artwork inside of them, and the Antimai album cover it shows like the city or whatever the fuck it is of Anzamai, which
yeah,
is kind of like a dystopian kind of theme to it, you know.
yeah. No,
But I
now
do like the Indigo Child more. All right, go
now
ahead.
be, now because of that, the Deer Hunter didn't join the Illuminati, did it?
No.
Are you sure about that? If you're gonna have shit that's triangular in nature, dude, then you know it's gonna fucking just to be like, ugh, that kind of thing. Oh, they joined the Illuminati. They sold their fortune so they could have wealth and fame and all that. God damn, my nasal cavity is killing me today. Ah, all right. So this next one, excuse me. This one is kind of a pretty interesting one that I chose here. But for my next choice, I say Fleetwood Mac's 1972 album Bare Trees. Now, it has like a misty like vibe to it. Like it almost I don't know what it is. Like for some reason the trees and the fog in the background. Yeah, obviously you probably never played any of the Cabela's video games, obviously, right?
I have not, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's kind of what it reminds me of. And then obviously the Mist part includes it almost reminds me of the fucking movie The Mist, and we all know it had probably the greatest fuck you in world history. Fuck whoever came up with that ending, dude. That was
No,
bullshit.
that's Stephen King for you, dude.
Still, dude,
No,
he gave that was probably the biggest fuck you that I ever saw since the ending of Call of Duty Ghosts.
yeah, no, The Mist was also directed by Frank Darabont, who also directed The Green Mile and what we just watched yesterday, The Shawshank Redemption. And we'll
Yeah,
be making a video on The Shawshank Redemption on my channel soon. Probably Monday we'll record it, but then it'll take some time to get it all edited up. So make sure, I hate to make a plug here, but make sure you subscribe so you can watch that video because it's going to be a good one.
yeah. Okay, so I was just gonna say, yeah, the album cover was actually taken by John McVie for the album cover. It's pretty cool. Oh, fuck, I'm fat. All right, so who's your next choice?
All right. Flying Colors by Flying Colors. Their 22 debut self-titled album.
Wait a
This
minute,
is the
hang on.
one.
You said 2022. I thought it was 2012 it came out.
2012. That's what I meant. I said
What the
22. I meant
live
2012.
what the living fuck, man. But yeah, I know what you're
No,
talking about. Yeah.
yeah, this is the one album cover that from Flying Colors that I actually really like. I think is a really cool album cover. I really don't know how to describe it. It's like this picture of a dude that's all like mosaic and shit with like fucking squares and shapes and like polygons and shit, just like colors like flying off of him. So it kind of makes sense for like the album title, like Flying
Yeah.
Colors. That's the best interpretation of the words flying colors is like an image, you know?
Yeah, I think I can't remember. Do those look like sticky note papers or whatever?
I can kind of see that, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what it is, honestly, from what I see right there, you know. But yeah, this obviously at Flying Colors is a super group, you know, obviously, and comprises of Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater, Dave LaRue, who is from, I'm just looking at all of the members right now. Dave LaRue of Dixie Dregs, Steve Morse Band, and then Steve Morse himself of Steve Morse Band at Dixie Dregs, Deep Purple, and Kansas. And then you got Neil Morse, who is from Spock's Beard.
Yep. Can't go wrong
Here,
with Spock's beard.
yeah, and obviously it also includes their main music producer that they use, Peter Collins, is the same guy who produced for Rush and Bon Jovi. So it's kind of a little bit of a interesting part right there for you.
All right. And it's on to you.
Alrighty, so this next one here, hang on a second, I'm just looking it up quick. All right, so my next choice would be Iron Man's recent album that they did in 2021 called Senjutsu, which is Japanese for tactics and strategy. It's obviously their main mascot, Eddie is his name, and he's wearing a Japanese samurai outfit. And to give you an idea, obviously you can't see it because it's a little dark, but it's a really cool image right here. And then the
Hmm.
background shows him again wearing that. Now the music, now because of this album, it's probably considered one of my all-time favorite albums that I'll listen to from beginning to end, and we will do a future podcast about our favorite albums overall that we will listen to from beginning to end. But nonetheless, it's yeah. If you ever played the one fucking video game, that hard ass video game called Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, and just put that album with this game, dude, if they ever would have did a movie, if I would have ever directed like a Japanese style movie that would also include this album, dude, it would be fucking amazing in my estimation. Because the music's just that good. All right, so it was the second use of the band's original logo type with the extended letters R, M, and N on a studio album cover since 1995's The X Factor, the previous one being for 2015's The Book of Souls. The album cover by Mark Wilkinson presents Eddie dressed up as a samurai and holding a katana. And obviously, I love Japanese culture. Like, even then, you could talk to my sister Brandy about it, and she could tell you like fucking 20 different animes she watches. But the downside is, why do Japanese animes always have to be turned into fucking porn, dude? I will never know. It's fucking stupid, you know?
It's just Japan for you, dude.
Yeah, pretty much, but still, you know, it's such a great album, dude. If you haven't listened to it, guys, you gotta listen to it. You gotta fucking listen to it. I mean, come back when you're on the same level as me for rock and roll, all right? All right, so who's your next choice?
All right, my next one is Haken's 2018 album Vector. My God, I love this album cover. This one
Yeah,
and the next one, both Haken, but I'll get onto that later. This one, the album cover is like a Rorschach test. You know, like
okay.
where it's just like the ink blast, and you're like, "What do you see in this image?" It was like
Yeah,
two flies fucking, you know?
yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and it does look it kind of looks bloodyish like, and for some
Yeah.
reason, Vector reminds me of the another album cover by that was done by the Alan Parsons Project. It's not one of it wasn't my favorite choice that I chose for it, but you know what I mean. I think it was from their 1986 album. I'm just looking it up quick. And obviously, ladies and gentlemen, I am gonna do a bio about the history of the project because I love them so much. Yeah, Stereotomy from 1985 is what the album cover reminds me of. You know, pretty interesting. All right, so my next choice. I don't know
Oh yeah,
why,
I
but
just looked up Stereotomy, and that's a cool album cover too. I really like that.
yeah, it's really nice without a doubt. What the fuck was that? I think
Oh,
you're smoking too much.
yeah. No, I just inhaled some saliva. Oh, fuck.
Okay,
All right, it's on to you.
so my number 10 choice, and it's probably among my top 5 favorite album covers of all time. It is Judas Priest's 1974 debut, Rock'n'Rolla. Now, obviously, we all know it's a fucking Coca-Cola cap, and they have Rock'n'Rolla in like the font that Coca-Cola uses. And
Yep.
the funny, interesting backstory about this is that Judas Priest was not happy with that album cover, and they, along with Coca-Cola, sued the guy that made it. And
That's
they,
fucked.
yeah, and they obviously did change it up to their alternate cover, which is to give to show their more heavier side, and it's obviously like one of their characters looks like gliding in the sky with torpedoes or whatever.
Yeah, it was like a demon or an imp or some shit.
Yeah, but I know that the original Rock'n'Rolla album cover. Now, Judas Priest didn't have this available on streaming platforms, but they did release it for the 50-year anniversary of this album, and
Okay.
it is like one of their most underappreciated albums, and it didn't garner a lot of attention, but I thought it was some nice stuff there. So, but that album cover, I've been trying to find a vinyl of this, but I fucking can't. I just can't, bro. All right, so who's your next one?
All right, next was another Haken album. It's called Virus. It's another concept album they did that was based off a song in their, I think it was like a 2013 album called The Mountain that had this song called The Cockroach King. And Vector and Virus are kind of based off the idea of that song called The Cockroach King.
Yeah. Now,
But this one shows like the Haken like logo or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
yeah.
This says
It
virus underneath, and underneath that it shows like a virus cell or whatever the fuck you want to call it, you know?
yeah, it almost reminds me of fucking um one of the things that I had to fight on Metal Gear Solid, or probably on I can't remember. It was also included. Oh, it almost reminds me of one of those virus cells on the that episode of Jimmy Neutron where they all had to put on a
Yeah.
patch to get sick or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, let me
Well,
ask you
the
this,
image
dude.
on there is like what a virus looks like when you like zoom way in on it. That's what it is based off of.
Now, let me ask you this, Aegis. So, the
Yeah.
album is called Virus and it was released in 2020. Isn't it a coincidence that
Yeah, I
COVID-19
was thinking that
happened?
yeah, I was thinking that same exact thing when I first listened to it. I was like, this album's called Virus and it was released like right before COVID-19 hit. Like
Oh,
originally I was like, ooh,
it
this
was
album was
released
called Virus. It's based off COVID-19, but it was released before COVID-19 fucking happened. So I was like,
yeah,
hmm.
or it was released in July of 2020. So, it was maybe they started working on it at that time. I don't fucking know.
They probably started working on it in like 2019. They put a lot of work into their music.
Yeah, it was postponed to 3 times, first from June 5th, then June 19th, and then finally from July 20th. Or no, July 10th, I meant. Fuck me. But
No,
yeah,
yeah, Virus might just be their best album so far. They just keep getting better, dude.
yeah, without a doubt. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was each of our first top 10 album covers. We are going to take a quick intermission break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back to the podcast that's here to remind you that it's great losing your virginity to music. This is the Roger Radio Show.
Oh yeah, cheers, brother.
Cheers, fuckface.
Hmm.
Okay, so last time we covered our first 10 album covers each. And because I started first go around, I'm going to let Aegis start first here. So, what is your your next choice?
In the Court of the Crimson King by King Crimson. It was their 1969 debut album.
Nice.
And just looking at the album cover, it makes me think of their song on that album, 20th Century Schizoid Man.
Do you think it was supposed to be that, in your opinion?
I I don't know. But it looks really cool. It's like some guy going like, ah.
Maybe they got inspired by that one painting that's just that one skinny ass dude. Like,
All by fucking uh Picasso or Van Gogh. I can't fucking remember.
I don't know. I don't really fucking care. So, but I know what you're talking about. The
Yeah.
album was ranked in number 2 on Rolling Stone's list of the 50 greatest progressive rock albums of all time, right behind Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. And I will be getting into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to say about it? Huh?
No, there's not much to say. It's just a cool album cover.
All right. So this one here is obviously another choice that I put it together at the last second, but I think for my next choice, it would be the Alan Parsons Project's 1980 album, The Turn of a Friendly Card. And it just looks amazing. I think it's another beautiful piece. If I could just have like a window that looked like that, dude, that would be amazing.
Yeah, it looks like the fucking kind of stained glass that you see in like a church or something.
Yeah, but instead it's a king card. Now, obviously, I can't show you because it's in this whole box right here, and I do not want to open the packaging. But you can see it right here on the back. It's right there. So, and like I said, I am not fucking opening the packaging. Hey, bud, yeah, the Turn of a Friendly Card, and Aegis and I were talking about it during the intermission, and I think it is probably the project's best album overall. And
I
obviously,
really liked that fuck, what was it? Edgar Allan Poe one. What was that one called?
oh, let me see. Tales of
Tales
Mystery and
of some-
Imagination.
That's it. That's it.
Tales
That is
of
my
Mystery
favorite
and
one that you showed
Imagination.
me so far. I really
Yeah.
like that one.
Well, you gotta take a look at the other ones, man. They're all really good albums. But out of all the album covers for the whole discography, the Turn of a Friendly Card just looked more appealing to me, you know? Like it looks nice. It's a concept album focused on the gambling industry and the fate of gamblers, with more than one reference to Las Vegas. E.g., there's a sign in the desert that lies to the west from the title piece. Musically, the album is more melodic and accessible than the band's previous works. So yeah, that's obviously Alan Parsons Project, among my favorite bands of all time. You know, really good band.
Yeah.
All right, so who's your next favorite?
Lark's Tongues in Aspic by King Crimson from 1973.
Okay, I could see that. That looks nice indeed, man.
Yeah, it's pretty basic, but I think it's really cool. I have a pin with that design, and I'm thinking of putting on my hat one day and leave it there just because it's really fucking cool, you know?
Now, let me ask you this for the album cover itself. Doesn't the artistry in the middle not look like the sun or whatever that they used for CBS Sunday Morning?
Yeah, it's the sun with like a moon around it.
Yeah, it does
Yeah,
look appealing.
and the titular song, fucking Lark's Tongues in Aspic, that song is one of my favorite songs of all time. It's instrumental, but it's really good.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't really find much info about the album cover, but it does look really appealing. It's a very basic, is how I
Yeah.
would put it. Now, my next choice, people. And obviously, this is probably one of the funniest choices right here. I would say Pink Floyd's 1970 album, Adam Hart Mother.
Honestly,
And to
d
give you an idea, people, to give
hmm,
you an idea, people, makes me wonder. I wonder what that cow on this album cover has been doing these days.
digesting in my stomach.
He's right. There's like how many pounds have been frozen in my freezer right now, dude. But yeah, I don't know what the story behind this one is. They were going through a very experimental phrase because of the departure of Sid Barrett, you know?
No,
But
when I look at that, there was this one album Frank Zappa released after his death called Leather.
yeah,
And there are two alternate like fucking album covers for it. One of them is like a picture of a cow like that. And I'm like, yeah, he's definitely like parroting that, you know?
yeah, I think that's what he's doing. Yeah, it was. I'm trying to think. I'm looking at the stuff right here, and they obviously ended up. The art cover was. Yep, I see it right there.
Yeah.
Fucking leather. Now the art, now the
Leather.
album cover was actually done by Hypnosis, and it shows a Holstein Friesian cow just standing in the pasture with no text or any other clue as to what might be on the record or whatever. Now there was a bootleg that somebody made for Pink Floyd in 1986. It was a unofficial 1986 compilation of earlier works done by Pink Floyd, and it's called The Dark Side of the Moo. Yeah, and I think for this album cover, from what I'm seeing, it was inspired by Andy Warhol's famous cow wallpaper, which is a screen print by American artist Andy Warhol in 1966.
Do like Andy Warhol. He's a good artist.
He really is.
Dave Bowie was a big fan of Andy Warhol as well.
Oh,
He
I'm
made a
looking.
song in his album Hunky Dory called Andy Warhol, and he got Andy Warhol to listen to it, and he hated it.
It's just like when Citizen Kane came out, and it was actually kind of based on William Randolph Hearst's life story. Ugh.
Mine's empty. I can't drink anymore. Bernie drank all the rest.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was fucking copying all those beers while we were watching Shawshank. I'll tell you, that fucking movie really hit me, man. It's actually a really good movie, dude. Like,
It is.
how the fuck have I never watched it before?
I don't know.
All right, so you want to go next?
And my next one is Aphelion by Leprous. It was their 2021 album. Uh, in the album cover is like this like triangular structure or something, and this dude's like standing in the doorway. And in the background, in like very light colors, it has this interesting design, which really brings it all together to me.
Yeah, now you could tell, ladies and gentlemen, that Leprous obviously joined the Illuminati here, so that's no
Hmm.
surprise. But yeah, it does look really appealing. You know what it almost reminds me of for the album cover? I'm looking at it right now. You know the
Yeah.
Mass Effect video game series?
Yeah.
That's it. That's exactly what it kind of reminds me of because of
Okay.
alien structures, and then you got that background sky right there. It's amazing. Now, still trying to digest this. The cover artwork, and I'm just looking at it right now, photographed by Oystein Aspeland and graphic designed by Elena Segida, is described as a pyramid in the middle of a Norwegian landscape and at night.
Yeah, because Leprous is a Norwegian progressive metal group,
Yeah,
progressive and experimental metal.
yeah, and as someone who is mostly Norwegian, man, I could really sympathize,
Yeah.
Or, okay, so I'm just looking at some of the info right here. The album was not initially planned, but writing and recording commenced while they were all in COVID quarantine. So I think it was all done via Zoom call or whatever. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is how we're recording the podcast, obviously. And Zoom really became the de facto platform thing for when COVID happened. So a little bit of interesting
Yeah.
backstory there.
It fucked Skype up. Skype isn't even a thing anymore.
Dude, that's sad. But of course, I never
It
really
is.
used Skype, honestly.
I used it a few times, but Zoom is way better. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I love Zoom.
Yep.
All right, so my turn.
Yep. And we've
And
been waiting for this one the entire video. When
yeah,
are we gonna get to this album?
yep.
Right
And
now.
ladies and gentlemen, this is the album that we covered here on our last podcast. And I'm talking, of course, about Pink Floyd's The Motherfucking Dark Side of the Moon from 73. Oh my God, what is there to say about this beautiful masterpiece? The album cover fits so well with the sound of the music.
Yep.
Now, this was another album cover that was done by Hypnosis. Now, I'm just going to pull up the packaging. Okay, so the album, it was, released by Hypnosis and George Hardy. And it basically depicts a light refracting from a triangular dispersive prism. And it was obviously it was basically inspired by the album cover for the New York Philharmonic's 1942 performance of Ludwig van Beethoven's Emperor Concerto. And I'm just going to say, there are no arguments, said Roger Waters. We all pointed to the prism. It said, that's the one. And it was keyboardist Richard Wright who told Hypnosis, do something simple.
Hmm.
And we obviously know that it ended up becoming the prism. I mean, dude, Dark Side, oh my God, dude. Number one greatest prog rock album ever, according to Rolling Stone. And why wouldn't it be? When you got one of the greatest bands of all time, one of the greatest engineers and producers on that album, and then the sound of the music and the album cover, it's no wonder it's so iconic. I mean, what hasn't been said about this album that has not been fucking said?
Yeah, there's really not much to say. It's just a very iconic album cover. Probably like that and Abbey Road are probably the two most iconic album covers there are out there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, who's your next choice?
My next one is an album called Blow by Donnie McCaslin. And if you ask me, Donnie McCaslin is the best saxophonist alive. My favorite of all time is John Coltrane. You can't beat John Coltrane.
Yeah.
But Donnie McCaslin is a close second.
Now I've never heard of any of Donnie McCaslin's stuff, honestly, but it says that he actually did saxophone on David Bowie's final album, Black
Black Star
Star.
album. Yeah. Yeah, usually David Bowie would do the saxophone himself because he can play the saxophone, but on his Black Star album and his No Plan EP, he got Donnie McCaslin's band to back him because he also has a really good drummer. I like Mike Juliana, I think is his name, something like that.
Yeah. Now I'm
And
look.
the great instrumentalists, and they backed him on Black Star and No Plan, and they did a great job.
Yeah. All right. So I'm looking at this right now, and NPR's series, All Songs Considered, called Donnie McCaslin's "What About the Body" single exhilarating art rock. The album it came from, Blow, was rewarded New Jazz Album of the Year by Jazz Japan.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, it's a
little,
really good album. I got into it when I was in college. I don't even remember what got me into him, but I just heard of him and I started listening. I was like, this is really good.
yeah. Now, obviously, I'm a really huge jazz guy, or started
Yep, me
becoming
too.
it. I didn't really care much about it, but then when I listened to a Steve Miller's album, Born to Be Blue, that's when I kind of started liking it. And I
No,
would play a
no, check
lot of
out Donnie
fucking songs
McCaslin's
by him.
album Blow, dude. It's really good. It's very jazzy.
Yeah, my question is, where the fuck did he come up with that name? It ain't about blowjobs, ain't it?
No, no, because like you blow into a saxophone, which is what he plays.
A little bit of Beavis and Butthead. Blow.
Blow. He said blow.
Yeah, you said blow. All right, give me a moment. I gotta refuel quick. Now I got that Voodoo Ranger you brought down to me. Thank you very much, man.
Yeah, no problem.
All righty. Now, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, we are not officially sponsored by them yet.
Yet, not yet.
Yep. But if I had to choose a beer or something, dude, I would like Rapids Brewing and Clock Out Brewing in Grand Rapids, Minnesota to do that.
Yeah,
And
they'll be
obviously,
our like local sponsors, but like our biggest sponsor is gonna be Voodoo Ranger.
yeah, if I ever had a huge sponsor, I want it to be Jack Daniels because I love my whiskey. And number two, I want the Anaheim Ducks NHL team to do that because I
Uh-huh.
love my Ducks, dude. I mean, to give you an idea, motherfuckers, hold on a sec. It's one of my signature DJing tops. That thing I think cost $100 to buy on Adidas website, and it was a limited time item. Now, one of my favorite rock bands, or I would say college rock bands, The Offspring, did a collaboration with them, and they even designed a logo, and it's fucking amazing. I want to get one of those jerseys. So, just a little off topic, you know. Okay, so is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay, so this next one is another very simple ass album cover. It is a Queens of the Stone Age's 2000 album, rated R. I mean,
It is very simplistic.
yeah. And not to mention, it looks like you're looking at the rated R stuff, or, you know, like the rating system in a movie theater.
Hmm.
It's just, I don't know why, dude. It's just so cool. It looks nice, dude. I really like it. It just, I don't know, just fuck, you know? Now, my question is, if we ever did an album cover, do you think we should do something like this?
Hmm. No, I'll probably get my sister or someone else to make album covers for me because she's a really good artist.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
No.
want something like very abstract and interesting, you know?
Yeah. Hell, if you ever need to talk to my sister Brandy, dude, you should see some of the art she did, dude. It's fucking amazing, too. That's if you're looking to do like some Japanese stuff, too, you know? And obviously, dude, Japanese culture, man.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with Japanese, you know?
Yep, you can't. Now, I just gotta quickly find this here. Oh, I guess there ain't much to say about it. It's just the 70s era MPAA R rating bumper features is featured on there. Restricted to everyone, but let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, there's ways of getting around it. Hell, they're even trying to crack down on people accessing porn now these days. So just to give you an
Hmm.
idea, but there are ways, people. There are ways, and I think the packaging for this album speaks for itself. Just
Yep.
saying. But it is nice. I actually did get a vinyl of this for my mom, and she is a huge Queens of the Stone Age fan. She
Hmm.
fell in love with them mainly because of the super group, them Crooked Vultures, who the singer Josh Homme was a member of. They obviously haven't been together in a very long time, but it's a really great super group to check out. And obviously, Josh Homme, I've always been a Josh Homme fan. Probably one of the most iconic voices in rock and roll. So, all right,
All
who's
right,
your next choice?
my next one is called In Absentia by Porcupine Tree.
It's not an actual
Looks like
porcupine,
something you
right?
see in a horror movie.
Yeah, it's not. It's not an actual porcupine tree or a tree made out of porcupines, right?
No, it is not.
What has this fucking world come to?
But
But yeah, it
no, like
does.
the album art looks like something you see in a horror movie, you know?
Yeah, it was done by Lassie Hawley, a Danish artist and photographer and filmmaker. And yeah, it does look like it. Because of the blue tint on it, you know the movie The Grudge?
Yes, I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, it does look like you take The Grudge and the TV show The Walking Dead and you make them fucking have a hybrid baby, and that's what came out. That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah, I don't really have much more to say about it. It's just a cool album cover.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just looking at this right now. So the concept is it's not a formal concept album, but many of the songs that had a common theme related to serial killers, youthful innocence gone wrong, and criticisms of the modern world. And he said it's related to some of the lyrics. It's about people on the fringes, on the edges of humanity and society. And we were watching the Shawshank Redemption, and obviously I could see that
Yeah.
decay in society or in the human psyche. I had an interest in serial killers, child molesters, and wife beaters, not in what they did, but in the psychology of why. Oh, and the absentina, or yeah, that's how it's pronounced, right?
Absentia.
Okay, thank you. It's a phrase being land for in absence or in one's
Okay.
absence. So I figured you would be interested in that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Never
on to
mind.
you.
I thought the next song I was gonna or album cover I was gonna choose. Sorry, folks, I'm getting a little drunk right now. The
Hmm.
album cover I thought was gonna be the next one, but no, that one comes next after Aegis's next choice. But for my next choice, I would say it would be Radiohead's 2000 album Kid A.
Yeah, I
Now,
got to pull it up here. It looks like something in the Arctic or some shit.
yeah, that's what it looks like. I'm just quickly looking it up also. Okay, so the Kid A artwork and packaging was created by Tom York along with Stanley Donwood, who has worked with Radiohead since their 1994 EP My Iron Lung. Yeah, Donwood painted on a large canvas with knives and sticks, then photographed the paintings and manipulated them with Photoshop to give it a very scary statistic about ice caps melting and weather patterns changing. And
So it's kind of about global warming.
um I wouldn't exactly say that honestly, but when you listen to like the music itself overall and you have I know you've checked it out, it pretty much kind of the music or the sinister sound of it just fits with the album cover itself. They were going for a more electronic approach and it worked great. And obviously, Kid A is considered one of the biggest fucking left turns of all time because you think they were going to continue the sound with OK Computer, but they didn't.
Hmm.
Tom York even said, "We were all so fucking burnt out, man. I wanted to do something different." And next thing you know, he started experimenting with one of them electronic pianos. I think the album itself got inspired by it got inspired by another electronic rock album that was released a couple years before, and obviously that's what happened. I'm just seeing if I can find that info. I don't think I can though. But it's amazing, dude. It's how it's actually ranked their biggest or their greatest album over OK Computer on Rolling Stone's greatest albums list, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, OK Computer is definitely their best album.
Yeah, in my opinion, they should have reversed that. Kid A should have been
Yeah,
42 and OK Computer should have been number 20. And they always say, oh, OK Computer among top 30 of all time. And like, why? All right, who's your next one?
Between the Heart and the Synapse by the Receiving End of Sirens from 2005.
Okay. Now, I've looked at that album cover, and I think aside from Derek and the Dominoes Layla, it's probably another one of their most beautiful or one of the most beautiful ones yet.
Yeah. I know, like the character being depicted, it looks kind of like William Shakespeare to me.
Yeah, maybe it was. I don't know. I really don't know, honestly.
I know it looks really cool.
It does. Now, okay, so it was they had the song that was your prison escape song, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's beautiful. I don't know what else to say about it. I can't even find any fucking information about it, dude, but it's a
I can't
beautiful.
either.
Yeah. Now, I'm trying to think, did it look like William Shakespeare turned into like the crow because of those wings in the background?
I
Just imagine,
can
it
see it.
turns out it wasn't Brandon Lee. It was William Shakespeare the whole time. Okay.
Onto you.
Yep. And this is another one I was really waiting for, people. Now, this here is probably REO Speedwagon's greatest album. You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish from 1978. And this here was my father's original vinyl, dude. And this is probably their magnum opus, in my opinion. Even includes Roll with the Changes, which is my number 3 all-time favorite song. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that give REO Speedwagon so much shit about this. And I'm just trying to find the Wikipedia for this, but god damn it. No, they always call it the worst album cover of all time and one of the worst title names, but I don't believe that for a minute. Bu- 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 if you're from northern Minnesota like I am, this is relatable to our culture up here of being outdoor fishermen. Okay?
Yep.
Now the backup part obviously shows all 5 members. And obviously, such a great album, dude. Oh my god. Roll with the Changes, Time for Me to Fly, Blazing Your Own Trail Again, and then probably one of my all-time favorite instrumentals on here, The Unidentified Flying Tuna Trot. If you end up making another like track or single for my podcast, dude, I might call it like the Unidentified Roger Radio Dance. Or the Unidentified Roger Radio Abduction. I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, if you don't think it's a good album cover or an album name, guess what?
All
All right, so who's your
right.
next choice?
My next one is Imperial by Soen.
So enough.
Yeah, it's got like a picture of a snake. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it does look nice, you know. Like you can tell like it has that color tintness on it. Like it looks like obviously I don't like to fucking bring up her name, but some reason that almost reminds me of one of Beyonce's music videos. Uh Swedish. They are all Swedish.
Yep. They're a Swedish progressive rock, progressive metal group. There's not really much else to say. They're a really good group. I need to
Yeah.
listen to them more because they have some really cool music.
Yeah, they're like one of those hidden gem kind of bands, honestly, in my opinion. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah,
with
like
my
Haken.
yeah, or my bands Airborne, First Aid Kit, and Through Fire.
But no,
Okay.
they were heavily inspired by Tool, but not gonna lie, they are better than Tool.
Right. Yeah, I've never been much into Tool, honestly, you know.
Me neither, but in our album where we were ranking our favorite bands, I was like, I gotta mention them. They're like an iconic progressive metal group, you know?
Yeah. All right. Now, this next one here, I was torn between these ones. Now, we all know that both these album covers were done by the same guy. Can't remember his name. Let me look it up quick. Just before I get going on this. Yep, it was done by photographer Michael Cooper. And while Sergeant Pepper is also another iconic image, I didn't feel that way. I felt this one was way more nicer. And I'm talking, of course, about another one of my favorite album covers. The Rolling Stones, Their Satanic Majesty's Request. Now I don't think you could see it, but it's obviously a 3D lenticular image that they try to do.
Oh
They
yeah.
were try
Hey,
they wanted to actually get the whole image itself to like fully cover the album cover, but back then it would have been considered way too expensive to mass produce. So they just cropped it like this here, and it just looks nice, man. And this was going through a phase where they wanted to go through, do some psychedelic stuff, and a lot of people
hmm,
call them ripoffs of Sergeant Pepper, which ain't far from the truth, you know. So, okay, so the original album cover or the original album name was going to be called Cosmic Christmas, but they decided to change it to Their Satanic Majesty's Request as a reference to the message that they say for Her Majesty's royal whatever that's on British passports. And this album here in question came at a very trying time for the band because the only ones who showed up to every single recording session was Charlie Watts, the drummer, and Bill Wyman, the bassist, because Mick Jagger and Keith Richards were had to go make court appearances for drugs because of acid and other stuff in their homes. And Brian Jones had to spend 3 weeks in a psychic ward and was dealing with his own drug charges. And
all right.
sadly, while Richards and Jagger were able to kind of recover from that, Jones sadly did not. And we know what happened. 2 years later, he lost his life, you know, kind of thing, and became one of the figures in the 27 Club. But yeah, they were just shitted on so many times because everyone's like, so we got another blues band who's looking to jump on the fucking psychedelic bandwagon that in everyone's eyes was already on its way out the fucking door. And it kind of was at that point. But it started getting a lot of praise right after. You know, it's like one of those hey, it builds a cult following thing years later kind of thing. So yeah, that's pretty much all my vinyls that I could really show. I would have bought more of them, but remember, I'm on a tight ass budget. I have a bachelor pad. I got 2 cats that I'm raising. Otherwise, I would have bought all of these album covers. And maybe buy
Hmm.
more vinyl frames, just deck it out to look good, make it look like a record radio station in my apartment, you know?
All
All
right. My
right.
next one, my next one is Someone's 2019 album Lotus. It's another fucking Illuminati album, so ooh.
Oh my God. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, you could tell they definitely had joined the Illuminati at this point.
Yeah, especially with like that eye on the bottom of the image.
Yeah. So remember, folks, they're always watching.
Hmm.
You got anything else you want to say about it?
And it's got some like moons on the sides that are pretty cool. But it's not nothing too like complicated, you know. It's pretty simplistic. I really like this album cover. That's all I can really say.
Yeah. What do you think those moons are supposed to represent?
I think it's just supposed to represent like the stages of the moon, like waxing crescent, half moon, waning gibbous, shit like that.
Yeah, it doesn't like represent that you're gonna turn into a werewolf soon, right? You hairy piece of shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next one, this is obviously probably one of the most imitated images that I've ever seen in my life. And
Hmm.
obviously, just like with Dire Straits' Brothers in Arms, I like the album cover, but I don't fucking care about the music. And I am, of course, talking about Bruce Springsteen's magnum opus from 1975, Born to Run. Now, we all know it is probably one of the most imitated images ever. It's pretty much him. It's like a cut-off image. He's leaning on his close friend, saxophonist Clarence Clemens, and a lot of people saw that image as like one meaning. So this was like in the like years in the aftermath of the civil rights movement, and obviously it shows like a bridging the gap between whites and African Americans to be more cohesive in the music industry, you know?
Yeah.
And obviously, if I ended up doing an album cover of my own just to for the fun of it, I would probably do that with my dad's Goldie Les Paul guitar and beat, just have it say "Born to Rock."
Hmm.
But like I said, Sesame Street imitated. There's like so many other rip-off bands that fucking imitated. Like it's amazing. Like let me see if I can find more of it quick. Um, but yeah, there was like Sesame Street that did that with what's that yellow guy? What's that yellow fucker's name again?
Big Bird.
No, not Big Bird. He's got Bert or whatever.
Oh yeah, Bert.
Yeah, there's him like leaning on. I can't remember what that guy who lives in the fucking garbage can's name is, but
Oscar the Grouch.
oh yeah. Jeez, I can't find any fucking memes about it on here, dude.
Hmm.
Fuck you then. All right. So, obviously, yeah, we are getting down to now our last four albums, so your turn.
My next one is someone's 2023 album Memorial. It's like two people, like an adult and a child wearing gas masks, which are joined together by like a glowing red heart.
Yeah, I'm looking at this and it almost you know what it reminds me of? You know like how they were doing like them gas experiments like in the early 20th century, you know, when
Yeah,
they were doing like experimenting with different stuff for warfare and all that. That's kind of what it reminds me of is those gas masks. And I know that on a Japanese island in particular, they were forced to wear those type of masks in the event of any apocalypse happening. And sadly, we saw what happened in the final days of World War II with the atomic bomb. But that's kind of what it reminds me of. So, what do you think that heartbeat there represents?
that's a good question.
Like just the preserving of life itself, even considering their gas masks and whatnot, trying to preserve their lives and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah, something like that. I don't know. Whenever I see a heart, it makes me think of love,
Yeah, that is a good
about
point.
like being connected by love through the atrocities of war.
Yeah, I can really relate, man. Can relate indeed. Okay, so my next one here, I don't know why I chose this one, honestly. It's just funny. It's fucking funny, dude. And I am, of course, talking about System of a Down's 2002 album, Steal This Album.
So, do you want to know where the title came from?
Please tell us.
So, System of a Down released their debut album, System of a Down, which was met with some uh, success. And then they released Toxicity, which is like a major hit for them.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, there were some songs that were leaked from the Toxicity recordings that weren't released, and these songs got leaked. And a lot of these songs ended up on this album. So since people were stealing the songs off the album, they call it Steal This Album.
Yeah. Now, funny thing about that is that it was Napster, obviously, that leaked it. And this was at a time when fucking Napster was going through all their controversies, especially with the lawsuits that were filed by Dr. Dre and Metallica for copyright infringement. And it doesn't it seem like a coincidence that it would be called Steal This Album as a reference.
Yeah.
Now they have an alternative cover, and it almost looks like it has a PlayStation 1 reference because PlayStation always had like the word PlayStation on the side and then the artwork on the full right side. And that's what they did with System of a Down and Steal This Album. And it's the alternative European cover.
Oh,
It's
yeah, I
just
just
funny.
found that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I just
I
find
don't
it
know.
funny.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
Want to know what my next one is?
What?
It's another System of a Down album, but my favorite one of their albums is when it comes to album art anyway, is Hypnotize. It's part of a double album. I have it on CD. Or there was Hypnotize and Mesmerize. You get them separately and you can like join the CD cases together. It's
Yeah.
pretty fucking cool.
It does look nice, like that puppet. There's that puppeteer there, and there's like all them baby doll heads on the man is
It
draping
looks like a
around.
pendulum, like you're hypnotizing someone.
Yeah. Now now it was part two of it was the sequel to Mesmerize, which kind of has like that same feel to it, but Hypnotize I think is way more nicer.
All right, I just pulled up your next album. It made me laugh a little bit.
Oh yeah. God damn it, I just closed out Google. I don't want to do that. Google. Now, this is probably one of the earliest concept albums here, but okay, so Hypnotize was your last one, right?
Yes.
Okay, so my very last album cover is none other than the Who's 1967 concept album, The Who Sell Out. Now, this is a concept album just about, advertisements and all that shit, And
Yeah.
obviously the album cover shows Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend, who are the two surviving members of the Who, with like just a bunch of ads. Heinz baked beans and then Odro
Hmm.
Rodrigo.
Odorono, I think it's
Yes.
pronounced. I don't fucking know.
Yes.
It's
Now
that
I
big
think
fucking stick of deodorant, dude.
yeah, I think they were trying to like overdo it or something like that. But it's
Yeah,
a
because he's got a big can of baked beans on the other side of the album.
yeah, Roger Daltrey was really enjoying his beans, all right. Okay, so I'm just trying to find the album cover quick. There is like two other ads that are shown also for like Keith Moon and John Entwistle. God rest their souls. And it's let me just find it quick. Okay, I found it. So Keith Moon has like a giant ass cream or whatever that's for healing a giant bruise. I think that was in reference to his 21st birthday, where a huge fight broke out or something like that caused him to lose a tooth and nearly getting tased by the cops. And the other one is John Entwistle with, I think it was his then girlfriend or something, wearing like, holding a teddy bear and wearing like, what the Flintstones fucking wore.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And from what I heard, Entwistle was a huge Flintstones fan, so what do you expect?
Hmm.
But yeah, that's all I can really say. The album itself just funny. It's just funny, you know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is all 20 of our album covers, our favorite album covers of all time. Let us know what your favorite ones are in the comments in the description or comment section. I meant, fuck me. And just let us know what is it that you want us to talk about or whatnot. Let us know in the comment
If
section.
you have any ideas for videos we can make, let us know your ideas,
Yeah, and we just recorded a comedy sketch for the Interrobang group channel that I will be editing, and of course, I'm the one with graphic design experience, so I made a brand new logo and new animations. Be sure to stay tuned for what those will be. Hey, the link to that channel will be in the description below, so be sure to subscribe to the Interrobang group channel today. And you got anything else you want to say before we sign off?
No, I got nothing else to say.
All right, well, let's cheers again. You don't have a beer or anything like that, so.
It's empty. I already drank mine.
Well, Bernie can still have one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, ta-ta for now.